you know what? I'm sorry. My mind and spirit just gravitates towards Aretha's way. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mental House with me, your host, Khadija. Yeah, I'm back because I'm just catching up on the little news and the little stories. And this one really tickled my fancy. It's not funny. It's about my the Queen and Dionne. Now y'all know good and darn well they are. You know what I'm saying? We just got attitude, all of us. What is wrong? What is wrong with us? All of us. No, I didn't come from heaven. I fell from hell like the rest of y'all. So I'm sorry. I am just cracking up because I got to share this story with y'all. And I know I'm a little late, but because Aretha was my favorite singer, listen, when I was a kid and when I was singing, that was right out of church. Uh, I wanted to be Aretha Franklin. I wanted to walk like Aretha Franklin. I wanted to talk like Aretha Franklin. I wanted to sing like Aretha Franklin. Everything about me was Riri. Until I got with a manager by the name of Odell Washington who said, no, we're not going to do that. You are a person and we're going to try to find out who you are. Because Aretha's story was more steeped in, I guess, my experience. I had been singing in church. Well, another reason I gravitated towards Aretha Franklin, and I think it was because one day I was talking to my mother about Aretha Franklin, and she brought up Dionne Warwick, and this is why this story is just so crazy. And she knew I had this love for Aretha Franklin because every record that I ever heard of Aretha, I want them all now. I want the old records. I want the new records. I used to go buy the 45s, and the guy would be looking at me like, You sure you want that record?" I said, "Yeah, I want Baby I Love You." Hell, I didn't know the damn thing was out in 1966 or whatever. But anyway, make a long story short, my mother was very disappointed that I liked Aretha Franklin, and I was like, "Why is that?" Because she has more of my root in terms of singing, in terms of feeling the song. Well, although I know that Dionne Warwick is from that Drinker family, and they're ministers. I think Sissy's dad is a minister, but Dionne and Sissy are cousins, right? So the fact of the matter is all church stuff. And I think there's a little resentment because Sissy, as being her cousin, always worked with a Riri. And she didn't work with Dionne for whatever reason. And maybe she did, but the history that's the biggest with Sissy is working with Ree. So I'm thinking that maybe that's a little reason why Dionne, and her have had this issue. But my mom brought an issue up when I was a kid, and she said, "Why don't you like Dionne Warwick? Because Aretha Franklin is a little bit too honky tonk." That always stuck with me. And I was like, "What honky tonk? What is that?" And she was like, Aretha was just not the best example of what to do from church or something to that effect. Well, that made me love her even more. However, flash forward to 2017, and there's an article that I just read. I got to share it with y'all because it's too damn crazy. It's called "No Communication, Communication Shutdown, Filters, Feelings Festering, and Not Being Honest with One Another, especially when we've known each other as long as this." Check this out. Aretha Franklin is finally ready to open up about that big blowout with fellow singer Dionne Warwick. Seemingly out of the blue, Franklin contacted the Associated Press to discuss an incident 5 years ago, which went down at Whitney Houston's funeral and apparently left the singer fuming, mad at Dionne Warwick. Franklin sent a fax. She's still on the fax. She sent a fax to the AP this week detailing the drama. "She blatantly lied on me, fully well knowing what she was doing," Franklin told the AP in a phone interview. In the facts, she claimed that Warwick made a libelous statement against her 5 years ago. At the time, Warwick told funeral goers that Franklin was to be there and was there, and introduced her. Then realized, then realized she wasn't in attendance. Reed's not here, but she is here, Warwick said, referring to Franklin by nickname. She loves Whitney as if she were born to her. She is her godmother. Piss off the Aries. I'm just saying. And anyway, the moment calls for some buzz, and Franklin says she was suffering from swollen feet, and that does happen, trust me, and had to skip the funeral so she could perform later that night at Radio City Music Hall in New York, in which she was contractually obligated to do. Though Cissy Houston and Whitney is Whitney's those though Cissy Houston, Whitney's mother, has said in the days afterward that Franklin wasn't Houston's godmother. It was Darlene Love. Franklin felt the comment was damaging to her and had planned to address the situation at a later date. Okay? Now, she had 5 years to call this woman on the phone. She has even worked with us. I hope that she's called Cissy since then. Since 5 years, she couldn't say, hey, okay, let me finish reading the article. 5 years later, Franklin felt that the time is now. While the story that Houston was Franklin's goddaughter had been part of her story for decades, Franklin said she first met Houston when Houston was a child and that she was far too busy to be anybody's grandmama. Franklin saw Warwick last week at the Tribeca Film Festival premiere of mentor Clive Davis's documentary, Clive Davis, the soundtrack of our lives. She also performed. Franklin said Warwick tried to talk to her backstage. She gave me a hug, and I said, oh, hell no. You can't be serious. When asked if she wanted an apology from Warwick, she said, I don't care about her apology. At this point, it isn't about an apology. It's about libel. She added, we've never been friends, and I don't think that Dionne is ever like me. Franklin once covered Warwick's hit, Walk On By, and the more famously, the moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I say a little, my prayer for you. My favorite. Okay, when asked for a comment, Warwick's representative Angela Ellerby said she will not even dignify a response to that statement made by Aretha Franklin. And I really don't blame Dionne at this point. Even though I love the Aretha more, there is no reason and no way I can justify 5 years have gone past that these two older women will be responding like this. How, and let me stop smiling and laughing because it's too crazy. How in the world can we expect the young people to act like they got some sense or act like they cannot bury hatchets and come together and talk to one another and squash stupid beefs? And when you got somebody, Aretha is like 75, I'm sure. I think she was 75 in March, and Dionne is probably like 76. They're real close in age. And then you got Cissy Houston. I don't know why Cissy chose to work with Aretha as opposed to her cousin. It seemed to me that Dionne always was more like a Whitney. She more catered to a whiter crowd. And just like her little second cousin, Whitney. Although Whitney grew up in the church. Clive Davis orchestrated that to such that Whitney appealed, he made her a pop icon. And Whitney couldn't take the fakeness anymore, and y'all already know the rest. Aretha appealed to me because she was raw. She was churchy, and she was gritty. And that's who I was at the end of the day, even though I had none of those damn experiences. Um, and I was always made to feel like that in church. They talked about me, you know. So Aretha was somebody I always identified with. But at this point, at 75 and 76 years old, Aretha, Aretha, come on now. Come on. Let it go. Let it go. Um, and go and talk to Dionne. Uh, and you know what? She already knows you mad about it now. And maybe y'all can sit down and talk to her and be an example for the younger people of how you squash beefs. Because at 75 and 76, y'all better be glad y'all still on the damn planet. You shouldn't even be having nothing to be mad about stupid shit. Okay? That go to show you. Big kids, adults are nothing but big children who haven't grown up yet and who haven't learned how to work out certain parts of their characteristics. So, as an Aries and as a fellow Aryan, I'm telling you, Riri, guess what? It ain't even worth it. You don't have to be mad at Dionne. I'm sorry. It's just my opinion. And actually, it's comical. Okay, with that being said, I'm getting ready to get off of here. All right. Uh, y'all, like, if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the little bell so when I do uh, load up a video, you guys can get it. Okay? And we are going to have a live stream coming real soon. I can't wait. I can't wait to meet y'all. Ah! Okay? All right. Talk to you later, and we'll see you next time in the mental house. Bye-bye.